Members, we have a bill up that's come to us from the early Children's and Families. I got to get the committees straight here. Children's and Families Committee, and I would like to welcome Representative Perez-Vega to your committee. And would you like to move your bill in front of your committee?
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Representative Perez-Vega moves House File 456 before the committee today. The intention is to move it out and move it over to Ways and Means. The primary jurisdiction for this bill for policy has been in the Children and Family Committee, and they did their work. We're here to look at the fiscal aspect, and Representative Perez-Vega moves House File 456 before the committee, and I believe you have an amendment. Would you like to speak to your amendment?
Yes, amendment is, Madam Chair, is to plug in the appropriation for the updated fiscal note that you see in your folders.
Wonderful. So we have the A1 amendment before us. Do we yeah, just want to make sure. So the A1 amendment before us. Does anybody else have any questions on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of the A1 amendment, say aye. 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 All those opposed, no. The A1 amendment's adopted, and the bill's in the shape the author would like. Representative Perez-Vega, go ahead and introduce your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the committee, I'm Maria Isa Perez-Vega, and I represent District 65B, which covers the capital city of St. Paul, School District 625, and the city of West St. Paul, School District 197. And I'm presenting HF 456 relating to making a permanent expansion of voluntary pre-kindergarten and school readiness plus programs, summing it all together as permanent funding towards preschool for children ranging the ages of 3 to 5 years old. As a mother to a soon-to-be 4-year-old this upcoming April, I can express to you directly the importance of ensuring our young children are prepared for their first day of kindergarten. Research shows that the investments in early childhood pay dividends in the long-term setting our children for great success in every area of life. Our children in Minnesota, more than ever, deserve quality care and the great benefits of preschool education in the aftermath of a global shutdown in which most infant and toddler kids, like my daughter, Loisa, were limited the ability to interact with other children their age until most recently. There is a great need across the state for pre-K, and it will be a great asset of preparation towards advancing a positive emotional, verbal, and physical environment that will welcome and bring comfort to the future pupils of our educational institution student population. We need to ensure our students are ready for kindergarten, which is a gap closing strategy for our young students of color and Indigenous students. Pre-kindergarten helps the adjustments and developmental drive for our children to thrive in an educational setting. It opens the opportunity for children to spend a great amount of time with other kids their age and develops interaction skills with adults and teachers outside of their home building, an environment of how to make friendships, communication, and cooperative conversational listening skills. Preschool, pre-K, allows our children to participate in new activities with peers and build skills on how to express certain emotional frustrations and challenges before kindergarten. Studies have shown the variety of activities of a preschool education helps construct children's language and literacy skills, physical and movement development, communication, math, science, and approaches to learning the arts and music to express themselves, something I know well of. Learning the alphabet, sounds, reading aloud, along with creative hands-on crafts, story time, and projects boosting the child's skill to build goals and express their imagination. A, B, C, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. Preschool age is a majority of 3 and 4-year-olds who are in the phase of developing independent thinking skills while establishing practices of taking responsibilities and putting back their toys, and helping other peers with opportunities to help set up activities, developing leadership, and opening diverse horizons and promoting language skills with introductions to new vocabulary and capacity to ask questions, along with building skills with opportunities to simply receive and engage in observing the community around them. It is known for pre-kindergarten to provide our children with communication skills and foundational skills in math and literacy. Our Minnesota pre-kids deserve high-quality education to support their imagination and cooperative development with the skills and opportunities to enter on a prepared readiness for their kindergarten class. There are simply not enough pre-K opportunities for our Minnesota families to choose from, and this would allow consistency in ensuring funding is available for current and prospective pre-K programs. I recently enrolled my daughter for the upcoming 2023 fall semester at Riverview Elementary on the west side of St. Paul in District 65B in our St. Paul Public School district. I was excited to hear from pre-K educators and how inspirational it is to witness the growth of their pre-K students advance onto kindergarten and beyond, seeing them return into the schools as graduates and off to going to college to become teachers themselves. It is without a doubt that pre-K is an important introduction and benefit introducing our children onto their educational journeys. I ask for members of this committee to support our children and the state's opportunity to ensure preschool remain with permanent funding in order to continue to serve our Minnesota children's opportunities to thrive and allow a comfortable invitation to the beginning of their educational dreams. Muchas gracias for hearing out why I believe all should be in support of HF 456.
Thank you, Representative. Next up, we'll have your testifiers, if that's okay. We have Dr. Lori Erickson up first, and then Judith Kerrigan-Crodell. Please come to the testifiers table, state your name for the record, and proceed.
I'm Judith Kerrigan-Crodell, pre-K educator at St. Paul Schools. Good morning, Madam Chair and representatives. Thank you for considering this important bill. St. Paul Schools to support, making the VPK funding permanent. My name is Judith Kerrigan-Crodell, and I am a proud kindergarten teacher at Maxfield Elementary in St. Paul. I have been teaching for over 30 years in both early childhood family education and the pre-K kindergarten program. Maxfield is one of St. Paul's school sites that is funded through voluntary pre-K. To date, Maxfield serves pre-K 5 children and families in the heart of the Rondo community in St. Paul. Maxfield's free and reduced lunch rate, homelessness, and high mobility are among the highest in our district. As a pre-K kindergarten teacher, I see firsthand the impact of school-based early childhood programming. Students in our full-day, 5-day-per-week classroom are able to experience a play-based, socially, emotionally supportive setting that allows them all to thrive. Our students learn foundational social-emotional skills such as sharing, taking turns, and cooperation. The language-rich environment allows students to learn through many areas of study. These promote learning in student interest areas such as the environment, seasons, animals, families, and our communities. Everyday students in our classroom know that they are important, and we respect and validate their authentic selves. The rich diversity and heritages are an asset to the Maxfield community. We often deal with the disease of homelessness. Our school and classroom offers a safe space for our pre-K children to build relationships and lifelong skills. We encourage them to share their emotions, dreams, and their hopes. We all know that we would never build a home on an unstable piece of land. Pre-K offers each child a unique and much-needed opportunity to have a solid start to their important educational foundation. To further support this, we offer home visits to our families. This is an important component of our school. Teachers are able to work alongside families to offer the best partnership possible for their children. As a teacher, I see firsthand the magnificent impact pre-K has on children. Children arrive in fall, and often our classroom is their first collaborative learning experience. By spring, children have developed into experts in their own important stories of life through their writing, art, math, and science exposure that may have not been offered to them through no fault of their own. I strongly urge you to move forward with investing in voluntary pre-K funding. I know St. Paul's children, families, and educators will be forever grateful to you. I truly appreciate your time and consideration.
Thank you so much. Next up, Dr. Lori Erickson. Please state your name for the record, and then we will have Stephanie Youngberg. And if testifiers can keep their comments a little bit shorter, we have a few more bills to get through. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Lori Erickson. I'm the Assistant Director of the Office of Early Learning in the St. Paul Schools. And I'm beaming because I'm sitting next to a potential St. Paul Public School parent and a St. Paul Public School teacher. It is a very proud moment to be in front of you today. So with that said, as I prepared for this testimony, I did take some time to review program history. And it was not that long ago that we served 100 students in a half-day setting. We pieced together funding such as community kindergarten, Project Early Reading, Project Early K, community kindergarten, early reading first, and local referendum dollars. The St. Paul Public Schools pre-kindergarten programming showed immediate positive results for children, specifically those children who qualified for free or reduced lunch and children of color. Our students routinely met the literacy, math, and social emotional benchmark targets, thereby sending them off to that big pond of kindergarten ready to go. Due to this, the St. Paul Public Schools has continued to invest in early childhood. To date, we have over 1,400 full-day pre-kindergarten seats. That's incredible, incredible. Of which 261 are funded through voluntary pre-K. The bill being discussed today will allow districts such as St. Paul to continue offering programming that we know closes achievement gaps. Offering a robust, play-based curriculum alongside of skilled educators such as Ms. Kerrigan-Crodell, children and families are welcomed into an environment that paves the way for long-term achievement. As the legislature considers building out a multi-tiered early education system, it is really critical to note that there are 600 children living in the city of St. Paul that are on our wait list. Every day, I am asked, principals are calling me asking for more pre-kindergarten classrooms in their schools. We know investments in early learning work. Families want it. Children thrive in it. Teachers and principals will build it. We know that if you fund it, we can open up those seats and move children off of our wait list and welcome them into vibrant classrooms. I urge you to consider funding voluntary pre-K. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your work in St. Paul. Next up, we have Stephanie Youngberg, then Jason Sellars, and then Rachel Johnson. Please settle in, state your name for the record, and proceed.
Good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. My name is Stephanie Youngberg, and I am the superintendent of the East Central Public Schools. I'm honored to be here today to illustrate how important and impactful VPK has been for our youngest learners and their families. The East Central District is about 750 square miles, and we have about 725 students enrolled. We are located in northern Pine County and have 55% of our students receiving free and reduced lunch. We average about, over the last 4 years, we've averaged 43 students in our VPK program. VPK has allowed our early childhood program to offer full-day preschool 4 days a week. By offering this free program to our families, we are able to provide children and their families with affordable, accessible early learning experiences that will build a solid foundation for learning. When our children are able to come to school for 4 full days a week, we are preparing their bodies and their minds for the learning that will come in kindergarten and for the rest of their educational journey. Through the VPK program, students have access to transportation to and from school and receive free breakfast. Students also have access to lunch during the school day, which ensures that our children have full bellies. When they are hungry, children are not able to focus on academics. Our free and reduced lunch families are benefiting not only from quality education experiences for their children, but their children are getting nutritious meals each day that they are in school. One area that might seem like a small benefit to our preschoolers' day is the ability to learn and grow in our outdoor learning spaces. Research has shown that by providing outdoor play, our children are able to be physically active, which encourages a healthy lifestyle, play with others socially, and collaborate together, be in touch with nature, and understand the world around them. Learning even occurs while dressing for outside time, especially during our crazy Minnesota winters. By dressing to go outside, children are learning self-care skills and practicing their fine motor skills. This is time well spent. Parents of our preschool children take their education very seriously. Our preschool classes have great attendance throughout the entire school year, and children are consistently in school. By instilling an understanding that consistent attendance is important for our littles, parents are getting their families set in positive routines right from the start. When our children are at school, they are able to receive mental health services from co-located licensed mental health providers in our building. Many of our students also benefit from these services because of attending VPK. For many families, time away from work or transportation hurdles would prevent this if they did not have VPK. Our families and littles also have access to county services within our school community, allowing easier access to dental services, county mental health, and a proactive instead of reactive relationship with child protection services. Our preschool program is also a great opportunity for providing intensive intervention services for our young learners who may have special needs. Often children with special needs only go to preschool programs for a few hours per week. Our students are able to come to school more often, therefore receiving more services from speech and language, deaf and hard of hearing, and other special education teachers. These children are also able to be part of the larger preschool community, increasing their social skills and experiences with children their own age. By providing these additional services, we are seeing early intervention is working and children are phasing out of special education programs and fully integrating with their regular education peers. The successful learner equation of ready families, ready schools, plus ready communities and ready state and ready systems really does equal successful learners. It is not the responsibility of the child to be ready for school. It is the responsibility of the adults, of the schools and programs, of our communities, and of our state to provide the appropriate opportunities for our students to be ready. By providing preschool for our children, we are setting our students up for success, ensuring that they are prepared for kindergarten and have long-lasting social, emotional, and academic success. It is important that the funding is predictable, stable, and available for Minnesota's youngest learners. Thank you for your time and the work you do for Minnesota children.
Thank you so much. Next up, go ahead and state your name for the record and proceed.
Good morning, Chair. You're welcome. And Representative Perez-Vega. My name is Jason Sellars. I'm the Director of Community Education for Burnsville-Eagan-Savage Public Schools, ISD 191. I don't want to repeat a lot of what was already shared with this committee, but I will add a few pieces to this. We are the fourth largest pre-K program in the state. We have 325 seats that are allocated to us in this most recent year. We think it's fair to ask, what impact does VPK funding actually have on the ground with students, and what are the results from those students? In our school district, not only do we provide kindergarten assessments for every single student, but we also provide the e-reading component of FastBridge testing. Last year, we tested over 601 students entering kindergarten. Of those 601 students entering kindergarten, the students that attended our VPK programming provided through funds allocated from the state of Minnesota, over 80% of those students who attended our programming, which you allocated funds for, were at or met or partially met standards going into kindergarten. I'm going to repeat that. Over 80% met or partially met. This is in contrast with students in our school district who did not attend school district VPK programs, and about 60% of those kids met or partially met standards. The gap is 20%. It's pretty big. One of the pieces that I would like to share with the committee is that along with making permanent funding for voluntary pre-kindergarten as a must, we certainly, as a school district and as a Minnesota Community Education Association, we definitely are in favor of Governor Wallace's and Lieutenant Governor Flanagan's recommendations to increase funding to benefit children for social, emotional, and mental health supports. We have seen with the 325 students, when they are in voluntary pre-K, they have access to other district programs, to other district staff that can support them in ways that they very much need, including food, mental health services, social, emotional, and other behavioral needs that students have. In conclusion, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be here, and our school district and our association very much appreciate your advocacy for this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Rachel Johnson and then Kimberly Antonson. You're both remote, so we'll go to Rachel. Will you please state your name for the record and proceed?
Yes, good morning, and thank you for inviting me to speak today. My name is Rachel Johnson, and I have worked as an elementary school teacher for the last 9 years, mainly in kindergarten. I will definitely be brief because I've left my principal in my classroom with a Groundhog's Day craft, so I'm sure he wants rescue. As a kindergarten and first grade teacher, I definitely understand the impact on the first 5 years of a child's life in regard to early environmental experiences. The skills developed in early childhood help children make sense of the world and prepare them confidently to try new challenges. But the reality is that children are not given equitable access to the same high quality experiences. As a teacher, I feel a great deal of pressure to help children be successful in school. However, the range of learning disparities amongst children is quite wide. I'm advocating for widely available voluntary pre-kindergarten because I know that it will impact the children's educational trajectory. It makes a difference in the ability to be ready to learn when they arrive in kindergarten. It is critical that we recognize the huge impact of these early environmental experiences, school readiness skills, play, social and emotional wellness. Childhood is such a unique time in every person's life, and each stage requires a unique set of skills. By continuing to improve the care available to children at their earliest ages, Minnesota can value the right of each child to have a safe, engaging, challenging, and stimulating environment. I applaud the legislator for working to make these spots permanent so communities around the state can count on these programs being there each year. And of course, thank you, Representative Perez-Vega, for championing the needs of our youngest learners.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have also remote Kimberly Antonsen. Please state your name for the record and proceed.
All right, hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, perfect. Good morning, my name is Kimberly Antonsen. I am a preschool teacher in Ogama, Minnesota. We are in the Wabanogama-Whiter School District, and we have about 650 kids district-wide. Thank you for letting me join you today from my classroom. As you can see behind me, the kids are being so quiet. I may have bribed them. I know I have. But this classroom right here shows you exactly what VPK funds are providing for the children of Minnesota. We were one of the first programs to receive the funds back in 2017, and it has done so much for our Kickstart program. We were already running 2 full-time classrooms, but with the extra funding, we were able to add a 3rd classroom, and more importantly, more kids. Each classroom has a max of 16 kids with a full-time licensed teacher and para, along with extra support staff as needed. The best part of all of this is that we are able to offer this wonderful programming free of charge to all our families. I love my job, especially when kindergarten teachers tell us they can tell the difference between the kids who were in Kickstart and those who had no preschool experience at all. They tell us that the Kickstart kids have higher functioning skills. They know about the school environment. They know the school expectations, as well as being ready for the more rigorous academics of kindergarten life. When they leave us and go on to kindergarten, they already feel like a part of the school and have that pride of being a Thunderbird. My son was able to come to preschool here in Ogama when he was 4. So as a parent, it was a relief giving him such a valuable educational experience for free. All children in Minnesota should have this opportunity. I am also a school board member in the Frazee-Burgess School District. I have worked with the early childhood director there for many years, trying to help them get a piece of the VPK funding. If they were awarded funds, they would be able to increase classes and offer programming similar to Ogama's. This bill does the important work of safeguarding the seats that are already available, but every district in Minnesota should be able to offer programming like this. More importantly, parents should not have to worry if they can afford such a wonderful experience for their child. Thank you for working on championing this program, Representative Perez-Vega. Thank you all for allowing me time today. And if any of you would like to see your VPK funds at work, I invite you to Ogama for a visit. Thank you.
Thank you so much for opening your classroom to us. That's a great way to end testimony. Members, excuse me. Oh, sorry, we did, the public was given an opportunity to sign up for to testify in House File 456, and we had 1 person sign up to testify. Sorry about that. Shane Morse from MDE, please state your name for the record and proceed.
Good morning, members. Shana Morse, Assistant Director of Government Relations at MDE. So I'm here to testify in support of this bill, and we'll speak from an education perspective. We know that setting our students up for success starts early. We know that the early years are critical to setting a child up for more positive educational, social, emotional, and behavioral outcomes later. Evaluations of early childhood programs have demonstrated improved high school graduation rates and college attendance rates. And it's been indicated that children participating in these programs have higher earnings, less involvement with the public safety system, and better overall health into adulthood. Worth noting too, a study from 2018 indicated that state-funded pre-kindergarten programs is significantly improved literacy competencies, which I know has been a topic this year. The purpose of our VPK and SRP programs is to achieve exactly these outcomes. Programs prepare children for success as they enter kindergarten, support their transition to that K-12 system, and set them on this positive educational trajectory. And with all due respect, we should not be in maintenance mode when it comes to high-quality pre-kindergarten access levels or having the conversation about trying to avoid a 50%, more than a 50% reduction in access. We should really be talking about how to expand access. And ensuring these 4,000 seats are not lost is the first step in ensuring that we can expand that access, and in the administration's proposal to expand pre-kindergarten opportunities through a mixed delivery pre-kindergarten model that provides families access through school districts, through licensed childcare, and Head Start. And that proposal is expected to serve 25,000 four-year-olds by fiscal year 2027. We also know that districts want to, as you've heard, and have the capacity to provide this programming. Demand for seats has been almost double what's been funded in fiscal year 2023. 6,915 seats were requested and that were not able to be funded. And those are with districts already knowing the caps in place and highly unlikely that they may get additional seats. So in addition to feedback suggesting the expansion to serve more children, feedback from districts has also been that they would like more predictability for finalizing local decisions about staff and facilities. This bill would help them to do that. Understandably, regularly wondering if 4,000 seats will be renewed hinders their ability to plan, and in turn a family's ability to predict access. So ensuring that our youngest learners do not lose access to high quality free pre-kindergarten opportunities by maintaining these 4,000 seats that would have otherwise have been eliminated, is the least we can do in the space of early learning. And so with that, I appreciate the opportunity to provide comments today.
Thank you so much. With that, members, are there questions or comments? Representative Pryor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I have to just emphasize how important this is. It's proven. We've got the data. Without a doubt, these are successful programs. The only problem is that we keep them on a temporary status. So that's the thing that we can fix now, and then we know that we're on the right trajectory for some of our youngest learners in Minnesota. So thanks for the bill and all the testifiers today. And it was kind of hard to watch the preschool class and focus on what that great teacher was saying, because there were some cute kids in the background. But I did my best, and I know that it was just reinforcing the importance of this message. And so thanks to everybody for being here and being an advocate and being so effective in that.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Bakeberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to look this direction so people can hear me. So on the advice of the chair, I'm going to talk into the microphone. But it feels weird to look this way and people are behind me. But yeah, I'm going to just talk to this column here. Thank you, Representative. Thank you to the testifiers. Obviously, early intervention is critical and critical to the success of our kids and our society long term. I really want to thank Mr. Sellars from Burnsville-Eagan-Savage Valley and sharing that tangible data and growth. When we invest in programs, we should have that tangible data and growth. And so thank you for that. My question is, in regards to, does this bill, Representative Perez-Vega, does it address the disparities found in the per pupil revenue between greater Minnesota and urban districts that are currently found within the funding formula? So does it address the revenue disparities?
Representative Perez-Vega.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's no disparities that I'm aware of, and unless we have our superintendent, who is from Greater Minnesota, just stated that all of their seats are funded, and that this would affect those fundings of those seats. If, Madam Chair, if Ms. Mack would like to address.
Yes, Representative Ms. Mack, I also want to point to folks, there's a run in your packets about which districts get money. This follows the needs of the students, so Ms. Mack, maybe let us know about the conversations you had on this topic area in early childhood and children and families.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm actually going to pass it to Mr. Strom, if that's okay.
No worries, Mr. Strong. He's back. Welcome back.
Thank you. Madam Chair, committee members, there is a printout, as the chair said, in your packets. I think the issue about revenue disparity keys off of how the count works. And for the VPK count, that goes into the regular pupil count of the district. So if there are differences in funding levels among districts, those would show up in the funding levels for the VPK program. The primary cause of those differences is either sparsity revenue for the rural geographically isolated districts or compensatory revenue for the metro districts that have large and the greater Minnesota districts that have large concentrations of students of poverty. So if you look at the printout in the second to last column, the total revenue per ADM, you'll see that variation across districts because there is a differential level of funding depending on the district's other funding. As I said, though, the biggest reasons are either sparsity or the compensatory differences by site. And the compensatory differences by site, it's probably helpful, and Ms. Mock can go into details about this, but the way the seats are allocated is on the basis of free and reduced lunch counts in each district. So it's in each of the 4 regions, rather. So the state's divided into 4 regions for the program, and the schools are simply ordered, each site is ordered by its percent free and reduced lunch. So you're getting relatively tight clustering for most of the districts because of that. But you can see as you look up and down that list, there are variations. And some of that variation that shows up on the printout, this is perhaps a little too technical for the general purpose of your conversation, but some of that variation is due to the fact that some schools don't go quite the full amount of funding available. So the ADM count, because they might have a half-day program, and the maximum is 0.6 on the pupil funding. So that plays into the denominator a bit when we look at per pupil amounts. Madam Chair, I hope that wasn't too long of an answer. It's a pretty complicated answer, and I didn't want to get us too far off track.
No, Mr. Strong, we always appreciate your answers. Representative Bakeberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Representative Perez-Vega. There is a significant disparity in the pupil formula between Greater Minnesota and the Metro. That is a fact. We've talked about that. In fact, yesterday we got an email from a teacher from a Metro district that was advocating for us to address this disparity. So I just thank you for your candor, Representative Perez-Vega, but this bill does not address the disparity. It will only heighten the disparity. I just wanted to make sure that I was understanding that correctly. And Mr. Strom, can you correct me if I'm wrong in that?
It won't heighten anything. It's
Madam Chair, Representative Bakeberg, yes, this program is funded just as all other pupils in the district are. And those characteristics about how they're funded are, of course, in the domain of this committee. So, but it's the same for other, whether it's a first grade student or a pre-kindergarten student, it's the same. So those distributions, like I say, the thing that's a little different about this is because the 4 regions, the Greater Minnesota's in a region for this, it starts at the top of the list. So the distribution tends to be when one looks at poverty measures by school districts, a number of the Greater Minnesota lists districts are at the top of that list because of some very low income communities. So really where you see the biggest difference is the suburban and exurban areas, and then across Greater Minnesota, very different from district to district depending on the characteristics of the families that live in those districts.
Thank you.
Representative Bakeberg, follow up?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Clardy.
Thank you, Chair Joachim. Thank you, Representative Perez Vega. I just want to tell you, I'm really excited about this. I'm just looking at the demographic piece that was provided by St. Paul, and it's showing that there's like 14% in this program Hispanic, and 29% Asian, and 26% African American. And I teach in a school in St. Paul, and we are fortunate enough to have a couple pre-K programs. And as a literacy specialist, it has made a difference. There is a study that was done 1990s, and it was called the Early Catastrophe. And so what that pointed out, looking at literacy, it looked at the 30 million word gap that students of a lower socioeconomic group entered the schools with. And so with that in mind, I mean, if you look at like being able to obtain like 2,000 words, I mean, think 30 million words, but 2,000 words an hour, there's going to be a gap. And as an elementary school teacher, I've taught reading for 11 years, and lately that's all I'm teaching is just reading. It does make a difference. So I just want to let you know that the kids come, they're socially and emotionally ready to learn. They're also feeling success from being able to do the phonemes or the phonetic aspect. And I thank you for bringing it forward. I'm supporting this bill.
Thank you, Representative Cardy. Representative Grisha.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Representative Perez Vega. Remind me, what's the motion on the table?
Representative Grisha, the motion is to move it to Ways and Means.
So we are moving it out of committee. Thank you. A couple questions for Mr. Strom. Mr. Strom, as I look at this, no disagreement that the program itself and working with our earliest learners is super important, but we're a committee looking at how we fund these things and how the technical aspects and how the money flows, as Representative Backberg suggested. We still have some disparities that could be out there. I'm sorry, I mispronounced your name again wrong. This guy here. Anyway, Mr. Strom, part of the problem we have here is there could be a lack of funding, like moving dollars from other categoricals. Is there a prohibition? I'll just say it this way, as I've been looking through schools, and you and I have been talking about nutrition balances, I've come across a couple schools that have like $1 million in their school nutrition balances. Those dollars could not be used to backfill or expand these slots, is that correct?
Mr. Strong?
Madam Chair, Representative Grisha, there are a number of reserves on funds and accounts, and the two funds that the legislature basically can't affect are nutrition, because the federal government says that fund has to be separate, and then because of the bonds districts sell, their debt service money has to stay in that account to repay those bonds. In terms of the other funds that school districts have, the legislature has in its purview the ability to designate or not designate money. Sometimes that's called a reserve account. But a school district, the majority of their money that they get for operating purposes is undesignated money in their operating fund. I believe many school districts, and St. Paul could comment on this, use a mix of general fund dollars and community education fund dollars to provide their pre-kindergarten programs. So it tends to be a mix of those two funds for the VPK and other early education efforts in the districts. The VPK funds are generally in accounts that are reserved. So community ed, basic community ed money, school readiness money, and ECFE money are all in reserved accounts. But the majority of a district's general fund money is unreserved and entirely able to be allocated based on decisions that the school board makes.
Representative Grisha, follow.
Thank you, Mr. Strom, and again, very helpful. And so Representative Perez Vega, what I would say on this is, no question, the intentions in the program is the right thing to do. Once again, we're in a finance committee where I think our biggest challenge, and what I just heard Mr. Strom say that I would confirm from school districts, is they're already trying to figure out creative ways to move money, yet we try to make it more complicated. I wish that, and your bill is not doing that at this point, but I wish that we would give them more flexibility, that we truly allowed the dollars to follow the kids with just an on-formula increase, and I think that would be cleaner. At this time, I have no opposition to the bill, and I wish you good luck.
Thank you, Representative Grisha. Representative Edelson, final comments? You'll be the last one up.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Representative Perez Vega. This is a great bill. I was looking, and Mr. Strom actually answered my question. I wanted you to walk through the sheets, and I think I'm kind of coming to the last one here, but it looks like these seats would expire, and we renewed them in 2019 and 2021, and looking forward to hopefully seeing them pass again. We know that early intervention actually saves us money down the road, so this is a great investment for our state. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Edelson. Representative Perez-Vega, final word.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I just want to say, I know all of us care about our children in Minnesota. I know that the importance of caring for our children, though, is putting their education first, just hands in hand with their health care. It all is a part of our developmental when it comes to physical and mental health. I'm excited for this bill. I'm excited not just because I'm authorizing, but I'm also excited just as a parent. My daughter is excited to go to preschool, and we're months away from it. She's excited to meet new children. She's excited to not only play on playgrounds, but to interact with teachers and sing the songs and learn her numbers better. She says to me, and this is something that I want to share with you, what she mentioned today, because she knows that mom is carrying a bill called HF 456. And she says, I know what comes after 6, 7. And I'm gonna learn how to count more in a few months, right, mommy? So, I mean, the expansion of our children is so important. This bill is securing our future leaders. It's securing the champions of education in the state of Minnesota. And it's empowering our children, but not only our children, it's empowering our parents. It's empowering our educators who you heard today. And I wanna thank all of our testifiers for making it here in person and those remotely for your dedication, your passion, your struggle, and your strength that has came to fight for permanent funding. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Representative Perez-Vega, and thank you for bringing this bill forward so districts don't have to keep rating funds together. And this makes stable funding for our districts and those preschool spots. So with that, members, Representative Pryor will renew her motion to, I'm sorry. Representative Perez-Vega will renew her motion to send House File 456. Not 7 yet, that might get us in trouble with Representative Kulowski. So Representative Perez-Vega will renew her motion for House File 456 as amended to move on to the Ways and Means Committee. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Thank you, Representative Perez-Vega. 456 is on its way to Ways and Means.